Well, as long as I'm stuck over here, I might as well cut some video for this week. So I might as well do the Friday news. I'm going to do Friday news totally different. Normally I get the news from thevillagesnews.com. I'm going to read you all the news from another news site that doesn't report just Villages news. But I've saved these over the week, and there's usually an article in each one of these news articles about the Villages. None of this news, let me turn it down here a little bit. Am I focused? Okay. None of this news comes from villagesnews.com. This is a totally different news thing. All right, here we go. Sumter Sheriff's deputies scramble to investigate school shooter rumor. Sumter County Sheriff's Office were called into action Tuesday morning at the Villages Charter School to investigate a rumor of a student being a potential school shooter. The school's resource officer teamed with sheriff's detectives and school facility to investigate the rumor, which was proven to be unfounded. Sheriff's officials released a statement late Tuesday morning saying there was no threat to students or the school. For those pushing to raise amenity fees in the Villages for renters, it says, we are full-time villagers. We bought a rental unit to try and make our retirement money last while we live in the Villages full-time. We pay the regular amenity fees every month for this rental unit, as well as our own home, even though this rental unit is usually occupied only 5 months each year. Each monthly renter pays an additional $50 to transfer the Village's ID to them during their stay. We pay $150 a month times 12, $1,800 plus $250, 5 months times the $50 transfer fees. To equate, $2,050 times divided by 12 equals $410 a month for amenities for our rental unit. Oh, that's hogwash. I had a rental unit. I don't know how you're doing your math. He's figuring something in there that I don't know. For those uninformed, the rental units are already overpaying for their amenity fees. It is mainly villagers trying to stretch their retirement dollars that own these rental units. You know, I got nothing against rental units. I had one. I was pretty strict with mine. A lot of people here use rental management companies, and those are the people that's the problem. They don't really care. All they care about is that money coming in every month. That's all they care about. They'll rent these homes out to 19-year-old kids. They'll rent them out to 35-year-old junkies. They'll rent them out to somebody that's got a felony rap sheet a mile long. Sex offenders. They rent them. They don't care as long as that money comes in. Those are the ones that are the problem. Background checks should be a must. And the homeowners, when things happen from these type of renters, the homeowners should be held responsible. Because I own one, and I know that you can discriminate. It's legal. When people tell you you can't, they're lying to you. They don't know what they're talking about. I discriminated all the time. Age discriminated. If you wasn't at least 55 years old, you never rented my house. And there was no children allowed in my house. And there was no smoking allowed in my house. So am I discriminating against smokers? It doesn't make any difference. Your house, your rules. Ain't that the old saying? That little noise you hear is the generator on the camper, if you hear that. I got the generator running so I can run the air conditioners. This website's totally different than the other one. It's harder to get where I need to go. Here's one. I don't understand this one at all, really. 5 years of hosting international students in the Villages. Hi neighbors, we are celebrating the 5th summer for visiting international students here in the villages. Our visiting students were from Spain, Germany, Russia, Italy, France, and China. Do you know there is an exciting volunteer opportunity here in the villages where you can open your heart and home to foreign exchange students? It's the retirement community. I don't know. I'm sorry, but my mind just doesn't wrap around all this stuff. This is the stuff you did when you lived in a normal neighborhood. Congresswoman Webster meets with official from the village's transportation. Director of Executive Golf Maintenance tenders his resignation in the villages. You know, he's been here a while. Actually, been here a long while. He is with the GMS, which stands for Golf Management System. And they're the ones that take care of all of our executive courses, I know. I assume they take care of the championships too. And our golf courses take a beating. I'll admit, they do take a beating in the wintertime. They're overplayed. They don't give them time to rest. And then we got a certain amount of people that come down here that's never golfed before. Nobody's teaching them the right way to do things. They don't know the golf etiquette about things. They don't know the rule of play, and they drag their feet on the greens. They tear the greens up. They don't fix their ball marks. They throw cigarette butts down on the green, which is just trashy. It's just trashy. And by the time they leave, which is around now, the greens are just, the golf courses are just a total mess. They're just a mess. I wouldn't even call them golf courses. I've played in pasture fields sometimes that look better. They have to, the greens has got bare spots, dead spots, muddy. The fairways don't have hardly any grass whatsoever, but yet you'll see them out there mowing. That's what kills me. There's like, the grass is like a 1/4 inch tall. It's the shortest fairway grass you ever saw. There is no grass in the fairway, but yet they'll be out there mowing it. I don't get it. So I'm not saying this guy tendered his resignation because of that kind of stuff going on, but he probably moved on. He took a job in Okinawa, Japan. That's right. He's going to Okinawa, Japan to work over there. Good for him. You know, good luck to you. But I've been to golf courses outside the villages, off campus, so to speak, and the fairway grass is there. The greens look fairly decent. You come to the villages and pay the high dollar to play here in the wintertime, and I mean it's high dollar if you're not a resident or have a priority pass, and even those are getting ripped off, really. It's embarrassing. I had a friend that come and played, got him a guest pass. We went and played Tarpon Boyle, and of course you don't get a report saying, you know, you can't say, hey, how's things looking up there? What's the rate of this course today? You know, you don't get that. You just got to go play because that's what they assign you. Went up there, he pays us $15, and I didn't even putt the first hole. Got on the green, I got on the green and won, and then I walked up to the green and looked at it, and I thought, I'm not even going to putt. It was disgusting, totally disgusting. Hole 2, the rest of them were just kind of, you know, if I had to give them a rating of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, I'd give the greens a 4. It was so bad, you know, that I was just embarrassed. I was embarrassed for my friend. He paid $15 to play on this crap. They should have given him his money back, as far as I'm concerned, but, you know, that don't happen. So anyway, good luck to that guy. Wildwood official to meet with CSX about trains blocking city streets. I don't know what the rules are in Florida, but in Indiana, where I'm from, there was a specific city ordinances about that. They could block, but there was a limitation on it. Period. They had to, you know, move or something. I don't know what the rules was, but this Wildwood thing, if you're haven't been here, I know last month Sue and I got stuck in it twice. It's amazing how long this train just sits there at a dead stop. Now, when you go down 301 and go across the big bridge that goes across the railroad yard, I looked down at the railroad yard and it was full. So I'm not saying, I read an article where it said that they were stopping and taking a coffee break and just blocking. I don't think that's it at all. I don't know who made that up. But when you looked down at the railroad yard, it was full of looked like railroad cars, that the type cars that they would haul the new cars, the new pickups on, those kind of cars, just gobs of them down there. I think the railroad yard was full, and that guy in that train blocking the roads was sitting outside on hold, waiting for the green light to go into the yard, and so they were just sitting there. Now, can they stop them further out so as not to block tracks or roads, major roads? I don't know. Maybe they can. Suspect in burglary in the village is arrested at Laurel Manor Professional Plaza. Frazzled villagers from sinkhole-ravaged neighborhood finally received some good news. Let me see what that says. They've been arguing about this for a long while. They learned three things Monday night during a sometimes continuous question and answer session at the Mulberry Grove Recreation Center. Perhaps most important was the announcement that the storm drain system in their neighborhood will be rerouted away from a pipe that runs between two dilapidated homes. Okay, big deal. Second, the village's developer has no intention of getting involved in the situation that started in the early morning hours of February 15, 2018, when sinkholes opened up along McLaurin Terrace and severely damaged the two homes and the drain pipe that runs between them. A second round of sinkholes followed in May and did even more damage. And third, everyone in the room at the Mulberry Grove Rec Center taking part in the session put on by Community Development District 4 Supervisor Don Deacon was extremely frustrated with Marion County's handling of the 15 months long situation they have been forced to deal with on a daily basis. You guys get as many of these robot calls as I do. I called Verizon, by the way, and they give me a free download to help limit how many I get. I just got it, so I'll let you know how that works. District Manager Richard Beyer told the exasperated residents that the plan is to reroute the neighborhood storm drain system to avoid the pipe running between the two damaged homes. He said the properties haven't been stabilized to the point where he is comfortable having crews work on the old pipe. And he said he isn't willing to put CDD4 and its residents in a position where the company that purchased the damaged homes, Asset Trust Holdings LLC, the company also advertises under the name of I Buy Sick Homes. Yeah, you did. Could pursue legal action if something went wrong and the homes were further damaged while the pipe was being repaired. Isn't that the way we are nowadays? Everybody is just scared to do anything because they always think somebody can sue them. We have turned into a nation of sissies. I swear we have. Well, I can't tell this boy to get off my yard because his mom might call the police on me for traumatizing her child. Get off it. Beyer said CDD4 doesn't yet have an estimate on the cost of the rerouted system, though he's hopeful that $1.1 million already earmarked for the repair of the old pipe would cover it. $1.1 million to reroute a pipe. Let me see if I can find something else here. New postal station. They're added that parts of the old pipe will be removed. The other pieces will stay in place underground, and he added that the sequence of the events will be stabilizing and reopening the damaged portion of McLaurin Terrace, installing a new pipe, and then finishing off the entire job. This will be a major project, he said, but one end of McLaurin will always be open. You know, there's an awful lot of talking here, but I don't see no action being done at all. They recalled the village's developer quickly pulling builders off jobs to help clean up neighbors that were facing similar devastation. That's true. And they wondered aloud why he hasn't done the same thing for them. I guess basically because he doesn't have to. I understand your situation, but what law says he has to? He doesn't own that house. He doesn't own that street. We bought from the developer, said the visibly upset Frank Federico, who lives on Locust Wood Court and was a resident of the village of Caroline when a tornado hit the neighborhood. I was there when the tornado went through there. I saw all the blue roofs. Let's have the developer tell us that he doesn't want to get involved and why he doesn't want to get involved. The developer has got to start talking right now, or all he cares about is himself. He runs a business. I understand your frustration. His business is to develop homes and sell them. That's where he makes money. And then of course he rents out, you know, he owns every business in every town, so, or every building. He rents those out. The streets are public. You know, that's Lake County. I guess I don't understand where people think somehow he's got a legal obligation to fix a street. I don't know. I don't see where he does. That's just me, I guess. If there's some legal reason why he should, if you got some kind of a contract with the developer that says he'll take care of that street, then I'd pursue it. But I don't think you do. Mayor made it clear that he can't speak for the developer, said he shares the residents' frustration with Marion County government officials. He cited a code enforcement board meeting where villagers and district staff were refused to the right to speak, and other conversations that he's been involved with that have basically gone nowhere. We have been up there, Byers said. We've tried legal, cooperating, cajoling. We've met with their elected officials. Barbara Gaines, who serves as a spokesperson for the residents living around McLaurin Terrace, said she was happy to hear about the plan to reroute the stormwater system, even though the nightmare she and her neighbors are facing for 15 months is far from over. Yeah, they're just giving you a big line. They're just trying to tell you guys something to calm you down a little bit for another 15 months. Wildwood mayor cautions against a knee-jerk reaction at Finney Putt-and Play. Yeah, I read something this morning. I don't know if it'll be in here or not, but Wildwood is getting ready to I think part or almost all of Finney is part of Wildwood city limits. So they passed a city ordinance about parking, and as soon as this gets passed, they're going to start passing out, I don't know how they're going to do this, but I guess they can. They're going to pass out parking tickets for people over there that park on the street, which, as far as I know, parking on the street over there, if it's a curb street, you're not blocking a driveway, or you're not parked within so many feet of a curve, or you're not parked so many feet of a stop sign, you know all the rules, is legal. So if they're going to start handing out tickets, I guess they need to go over there and start putting no parking signs up from the city of Wildwood so people will know where not to park, or start painting the curbs yellow or something. You just can't pass out tickets when people don't know. There's a lot of people that move here that's new. They don't know. So they're going to have to do something. And I'm sure those people ain't going to like the idea of a no parking sign in their front yard. Community watch drivers patrolling more than 1 million miles per year in the villages. District manager will address ongoing sinkhole issue in the villages. Sumter County Sheriff Bill Farmer launches re-election campaign. Old Bill Farmer's been around a long time. I mean, he's no spring chicken. Come on, Bill. Don't you think you've earned a little bit of retirement? I mean, I'm sure you enjoy your job or you wouldn't want to do it, but after you get to a certain age, just let some younger guy do it. And sit back, enjoy yourself, have a beer, play some golf, shoot some pool, volunteer. But he'll probably win because I think Bill's pretty well liked. Never met the guy. I'd love to meet the guy. I'd love to talk to him, interview him, and film it. I'd love it. Bill, if you're watching this for any reason, or anybody that knows Bill, tell Bill I'd like to come down to the sheriff's department and interview him, and maybe get a tour and put it on my video and let people see some of the people to help take care of us. Florida mayor criticized for Confederate memorial decree. You know, I actually think that's kind of funny, but I also don't see a thing wrong with it. Hey, look, everybody's got a flag. Everybody, you know, they celebrate, I'm just going to rattle off here. They celebrate Black America. I'm sure they celebrate the fire department and the police department, what they call first responders. They have a flag and they celebrate that. They celebrate 4th of July. They celebrate Armistice Day. They celebrate the Irish Day. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, they have the German parades here, and they have the Italian American parades and everything here. So the Confederate flag, which is a Southern thing, they're going to have a Confederate Flag Day, and everybody's up in arms about it. What? You can have your day and they can't have theirs? I don't see the problem. I really don't. I could care less if they want to fly a Confederate flag. Who cares? District supervisor eager to forge ahead as the villages grows by leaps and bounds. District manager Richard Byer in the address Friday morning to a large number of community development district supervisors said the villages is growing by leaps and bounds and outlined plans to stay ahead of the growth. The village is now 70 square miles. Disney World is 39 square miles. I'm not sure why we're being compared to Disney World. And the 17th largest municipality in Florida, the district has $2 billion in assets. The villages is bigger than roughly half of the counties in the state of Florida. This is no longer a sleepy little village, said Byer, who took over last year as district manager, succeeding Janet Tutt. Well, Janet Tutt was a puppet to the developer. I hope this guy ain't. Rapid growth is on the horizon as a drive south State Road 44 would certainly prove. Byer stressed the future demand for efficiency, embracing technology, and communicating with residents. You know, they talk about all this stuff they want to do and what they want to make things better, but yet they can't stop landscapers from using resident-only swimming pool areas as a public restroom. And they can't stop that. They need to back up and punt. Villages Honor Flight preparing for first 2019 trip to D.C. They do that all the time. Mother of Village's problem child didn't submit to required random screening. So I guess it's bye-bye to you and back to jail. You want to tell me how much you really care about that little boy now? Rhode Island man jailed after unwelcome serenade of neighbor lady. He just can't take no. Wildwood commissioners Monday heard the first reading of an ordinance that revamps the city's parking regulations. Whoops. Just back around here. I'm getting out of frame, ain't I? The proposed ordinance is a response to complaints from Village of Finney residents about users of Finney Putt and Play who park on their neighborhood streets. That's it. I thought that was legal. If it's not legal there, then that means parking on the street will be legal nowhere inside the Wildwood city limits, which is, I'm not sure where it starts, I'm not sure where it ends, but if part of Wildwood city limits goes into, say, Collier or Pinellas or any of those areas, maybe even part of my area, I don't know, I don't think so, not in my area, be warned, because this is not just for Finney, this would be for you. Police have tried to assist in enforcing parking restrictions, but city officials believe revision of the parking ordinance was needed to address the problem. We just want to thank the commission for taking some action on the parking situation we have experienced, said Lonnie Turner, who spoke for a small group of Finney residents at the meeting. We are looking forward to taking our no parking decorations down. Well, your no parking signs technically has no weight anyway. It's not legal. You're not authorized to put up no parking signs. You can put them out there as a suggestion, but if somebody parks there without a law, there's nothing you can do, truthfully. The ordinance would create a ticketing system and allows police officers to issue $25 citations for parking violations. It defines illegal parking such as blocking a driveway, that's what I said, you can't block a driveway, or a roadway, or parking within 20 feet of an intersection. You know, most of this they took on a driver's test. They already know this, right? You can't park on a curb, or not a curb, curve with a V, C-U-R-V-E. If the road's curving, you can't park on this curve. Abusing handicap parking or parking too close to a fire hydrant carry stiffer fines. Police officers also would have authority to tow, impound vehicles that cause traffic hazards, or when a driver is incapacitated, involved in a serious accident, or in certain other cases. Mayor Ed Wolf warned that the commission should proceed cautiously with this proposed ordinance. Let's not take a knee-jerk reaction, he said, adding that he has received calls and emails on both sides of the Finney parking issue. My concern is we just be careful in how we write it. We don't want problems somewhere else. And you will, because that ordinance, you can't say this is an ordinance in Finney. It has to be everywhere in Wildwood's city area. City Manager Jason McHugh said the parking regulations will apply to other areas such as illegal parking in Brownwood, because Wildwood City Police, in case you don't know, has a satellite police department or office in downtown Brownwood. It's right next to the movie theater. Villagers who drive to Finney Putt and Play are directed to use the Sugarcane and Blue Heron recreation centers and walk to the amenity, but some users park on neighborhood streets to shorten the walk. Only golf cart parking is available at Finney. That's funny, I've seen a car parked in that golf cart parking. Is that ticketable? Just curious. From the villages north and south, State Road 44 may not be completed for up to 2 years. Finney residents complained to village's officials last October about the parking and were routed to Recreation Director John Rohan, who told them that the flyer directs people to park at the recreation centers. You know, John Rohan's got a lot on his plate, but his hands are tied on all this stuff. I sent an email to Mr. Rohan about the use of our resident pool as a public restroom. Every landscaper in the world goes in there, to the point where I don't have a pool anymore. I won't go there. I haven't been in our pool, our neighborhood pool, which is resident only, by the way, and their guests, 2 years. And I've told my wife, I said, when it gets to the point with these amenities here that I can't do anything anymore, then I have to question about if I want to stay here, because why am I paying that $159 a month if I can't do anything? Anyway, he sends me an answer back when I sent the email as short as I possibly could. I didn't want to, if you get something too long for people to read, they won't read the whole thing. Make it short and sweet and you're better off. So he sent me a letter back stating the fact that he understood my complaint. He said that I was exactly right. They're not supposed to be in there. He said if you get a chance, take a picture of the sign on the side of the door, and that's the trick. Most of these landscapers are just local guys with a trailer and a lawnmower, and they go around and they mow grass. There's no sign on their door. And he said they'll get into it, they'll call the company, blah, 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 and they'll take care of it. Because they all know, all the major companies know they're not supposed to be in there at all. It's always these smaller companies, and it seems like there's a lot more of them than there are the larger companies. And he said if they don't have a sign, he said call down to the Manatee Rec Center, and they'll run down there real quick, and they'll catch them, and they'll let them know. Horse crap. You call down there, those guys don't get in no hurry. They're in a golf cart. You know, they're walking around, and they're got to tell somebody to cover my desk or this or that because I got to go run down there. By the time they get done, the guy's there and gone by the time this guy shows up. It's almost like pulling teeth to get him to go down there with a scanner and scan everybody's ID just to make sure they're supposed to even be in there. It's like, you know, everybody just wants to sit on their butts and collect a check at the end of the week, and they don't want to do anything. And, you know, like I said before, you ask these questions when you buy a house. What are the rules about whatever it is you're interested in? They're going to tell you what the rules are. They'll tell you. They won't hide about it. And then ask them, who enforces the rules? And do these rules get enforced? Because in a new area, they're pretty good about it. They were pretty good in my area when they were still building houses. They monitored everything. They checked everybody's IDs. It was pretty well monitored, because it was still under the developer's control. After a couple of years, that developer sells everything back to that district, and he's out of control. He moves on to something else, and then that's when everything kind of falls apart, little by little. All the rules are relaxed, and there's nobody to crack the whip to tell them to get on the stick. So anyway, that's enough news. All that came from another source. I got to do a bunch of editing. I know already I do, so I'm gonna get out of here. Sue just sent me a text saying she's coming over to get me. The dog's taking a nap down here on the floor. I know you can't see her, but she is. Let me turn this around real quick, see if you can see her. Wait a minute. I can't get this thing to turn. What am I doing here? Why is this thing taking... Oh, no, yeah. Anyway, there she is. See her? Whoops. See her down there? Get this back up here. She came over here to help me today. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, there it is. That's what I did wrong right there. I don't even know what I'm doing. You'd think I knew what I was doing by now, wouldn't you? Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Have a great day. It's dark outside. I can't tell you anything about sunny Florida. There is no sun. So, from the big gray bus, see you all on the other side.